I was recently watching an episode of My First Million, which is my favorite podcast. In this episode, Sean talked about how one of his goals for the year was to live life like the dumb beginner or the Jedi Master, but not the overanalyzer person who exists in the middle of the curve.
There's the ignorant kind of beginner on one side. There's the Jedi Master on the other, and in between is the sort of like stressor type A personality that's like overanalyzing everything. And my goal for the year/life is to live life like either the dumb beginner or the Jedi Master. It doesn't matter. They think the same way, and not be the stressor achiever type A overanalyzer type person.
So in this video, I'm going to show you how to become the Jedi Master. And the first thing you have to understand is that successful people are hardly ever, I can't do this with the hood on. You have to understand that most successful people are not the midwits in the middle of this curve. The best entrepreneurs, the best parents, the best athletes, the best all around solid people that I know are either like the kind of dumb beginners or they're the Jedi Masters. They don't seem like they're the smartest people. They don't try and prove their intellect, their intelligence. They hardly ever argue and try and be right, but they just do stuff. And because they do massive volume, they end up doing it well and they get pretty awesome results. So in a world of information overload, indecision, analysis paralysis, opportunities galore, it's no wonder that we overthink the hell out of everything. And in my opinion, the way through this is not to think more, unless that thinking is intentional, directed, structured. And what I mean by that is actually sitting down with a pen and paper for an hour and like systematically working through it, not the standard sort of overthinking that we all engage in. The best way through it, other than that, is just to be like Chad, just to do it. Go harder, go faster, not think about it, do more. And if this sounds too simple for you, or you're like, well, I don't want to be a Chad, then it might be because you're stuck in the midwit zone and you're not being the dumb beginner or the Jedi Master. Also, the desire to be right, like the guy in the middle, the midwit, it'll hold you back from being effective. There's being correct and then there's being effective. The ideal is to be both, but if you have to pick one, then you should be effective. Midwits aim to be correct. The midwit entrepreneur or wantrepreneur says things like, well, the economic conditions aren't right and I'm going to keep working my job and wait for a few years until things are better. He might be correct about the economic conditions, but this is a cope and someone else will build the business that he wants to build despite the economic headwinds. Or he might say, well, this isn't a business I can just launch quickly and iterate on. It takes months and years of detailed strategy. No, it just doesn't. Like most businesses don't. Oh, well, I'm not sure that my product can work well in the market. I'm going to switch gears and I'm going to spend months developing something new. Usually this person has never tried selling, launching, or validating their product with any real customer. They don't know that their product will work or not in the market. They're just pivoting to delay and to avoid the discomfort of launching something and potentially being criticized for it. So how do you escape this midwit trap? And how do you become the Jedi Master? Well, the first thing is to work in silence. I said this before, and I'll say it again because I think it's important. It is typical of a midwit to justify and rationalize what they're doing or not doing. But you don't need to do that. You can just work on the thing and not need to prove to anyone, including yourself, that it's the right thing. You can just do it. You can just like work in silence. The second tip is to operate with speed and urgency. Speed is the antidote to overthinking. The faster that you operate, ship, commit, decide, the less time you have to deliberate and start overthinking. And if you're the midwit, then you've already done enough overthinking. It is time to act, and you should do so with speed. Third, pay attention to your results, not just what you know. So the midwit has a big ego, right? They can argue with the simpleton, the dumb beginner, or the Jedi Master, and they can appear to be right or appear to sound smarter. But the problem is they don't get results. And as I said in my video on how to become an action-oriented person, results matter. For better or worse, in our society, we are judged on the results that we get. And so personally, I want to play a game where I'm getting results. And one quick way to lose this midwit ego, if you have it, is to compare your results, or lack of, to those of a Jedi Master or dumb beginner simpleton that you know. The fourth tip is to stop consuming. You do not need more information. When you're in the midwit trap, you already have too much nuance. Your brain's going over here, you're overthinking everything. You have too many hypotheses. And in this situation, more information is only going to paralyze you even more. It's not going to bring you the clarity you seek. The only thing that's going to do that is taking action, moving forward. So stop consuming. You don't need more information. You do need to take action. And the fifth tip is to get some accountability. If you've got a friend who's also in this midwit trap, or maybe they're not, maybe they've ascended to Jedi Master, then hit them up and just ask if you can set up some sort of accountability system. Like one thing I do is I have a friend who I email, another business owner, and I email him every 2 weeks with a bunch of important tasks that I need to get done. He does the same back to me, and then we kind of follow up with each other. So it's this constant rolling deadline. It's like, did you get this done? Did you do what you said you were going to do? So there's extra motivation there from that accountability. So those are the 5 tips. I do encourage you not to live in the middle, not to be the midwit. It'll just hold you back. You probably already know that though. So in conclusion, work in silence, operate with speed, pay attention to your results, not just what you know, stop consuming, and get accountability. And somehow I screwed up the counting on my hand, but you get the idea. There's 5 tips, implement them, see what happens, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.